All right, guys, we're back again with another episode, and this one is going to be, I don't know, it's going to be a little tough, I think, right? And, like, what I wanted to say before we started was, you know, like, we don't know shit about shit. We just know what we've seen, and, like, maybe we're being influenced by the wrong people, whatever. It doesn't matter, but, like, it's going to be controversial, and we're still going to keep it Trassy, though. So, who wants to come on with it?
I mean, I'll say this real quick, guys. I think what we should do is, instead of just going out with it, I mean, we can obviously talk about this, like, we can say what the case is or the story is. I don't think you said it from that. Okay, good. I was making sure. I was like,
you probably already know at this point from the title. But
yeah, but from the title, you're already going to know. But what I think, instead of just going into detail whether you've heard it or not, let's all maybe, before we hear anything, whether we've heard it or we haven't heard it, let's have, I guess, our suspects, if you'd like. Like, who do you think did it? Or
do you want to like throw suspects out first and then
yes,
talk
and then go over the details,
and then at the very end see if your opinion changes or not.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, because I thought that might happen.
Yeah, you know, so if we can get, you know,
because there's stuff that
or maybe the viewers at home, maybe y'all might have a different opinion.
Yeah, like think about who you think the suspect is. Like, who do you think really did it?
But comment down below.
But we're also not like pointing fingers at, like, you know, we're not like, we know. It's like our opinion based on what we've seen. Because even though we've all seen pretty much almost the same things.
Yeah. Some of us have seen a little bit different stuff.
Yeah,
but,
and there's some other things that we probably don't know yet that we haven't heard yet. So, like,
right.
Prior to this recording. So, yeah. So it'll be like kind of a toss-up.
It's more of like when we talk about suspects, it's more of like who seems like, you know, the most suspicious or like who could have. Not like, oh, yeah, they totally did it. Because, we're not trying to get super.
I mean, I will spoil something, and I'm not going to say the name or who it is because their name will come up regardless because they are involved with this case. We have had somebody reach out to them, and, you know, just for, I guess, sake of just, you know, privately, we're not going to disclose who it is.
You won't know who that person was that was spoke to.
Yeah, and that gave us information.
But it's still badass that it happened. It's really dope.
No, it is awesome that it happened, but I have respect for the individual.
Yes.
Or individuals, you know, we could say.
I learned some stuff, and it was a promise that I made, and it's a promise that I'm going to keep.
Well, it's just out of respect. I mean, we may be shitty fucking people, but when it comes to journalism, we kind of do better than the mainstream.
Right, well, that and, like, I think that, you know, even if you think someone is suspicious or even if you think someone is, like, the world's worst person ever, like, you know, it's still easier to, like, you know, if they ask for their privacy, you give them their privacy. Even, like, you would give someone who you think is the best person in the world, you would give them that privacy. So no matter who it is, if they ask for privacy, you know, you give it. So
right.
Just because we're not...
And not only that, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but, like, not only that, but also at the same time... we need to look at it as, what if this person or persons are suspect or suspects, you know, and then we're saying, oh, they fed us this information, and then now we're saying that they're still guilty of doing this heinous crime. Right. I mean, that's kind of shitty, too.
Right. Yeah.
And, I mean, and even still, like, I will say at least at the beginning, maybe even at the end, I can't 100%, I can vouch for myself, but I'm sure they would agree, who I think, or the people or person involved in these heinous acts, I can't tell you 100% if I know for sure or not, really. There's no way.
We're not professionals. We're not even cops.
Even the cops, I mean, we'll get into it.
Well, they're humans, but you get what I mean. We have zero training we have zero training aside from watching documentaries.
I'll go ahead and just drop.
We're not even armchair detectives at best, really.
I mean,
so it's like our own opinions, but, like, you know, again, back to the privacy thing. So us disclosing who it is, we're not doing that because we don't like them or because we like them. We're literally doing that because that's what you do for another human when they express they don't really, you know, I don't really want to talk about it, but I'll talk about it with you. So, like,
you got the golden ticket. She got the golden ticket. Yeah. It's dope.
And plus, too, who's to say that we can't possibly, maybe, you know, some other people that were involved, well, in different cases, or even this case, well, if we do a follow-up and we actually get some other people, and then if they say, hey, I want to be acknowledged, or hey, you can go ahead and tell them that I gave you this or gave you that, then yes, we will gladly honor that. But if they're like, hey, you know, I'd rather kind of keep it, you know, under the, you know, for whatever reason, we're going to respect that. I mean, that's what you should do, you know.
So that, all that being said, I think I can't start off because like there's too much pressure here. I think I want to go. We don't have to go down the line, but like I don't want to like give my answer. Well,
somebody needs to go ahead and speak up.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I'll kick it off.
Saved. About to throw.
I'm undecided.
Okay, so she went with the cop out.
Well, that's what I was going to say too. That's why I didn't want to
go. Well, okay. Do you want to know who I lean more toward?
Yes, I do. I'm not. You don't have to even give a percentage either. You can just say, hey, like if I had to pick, you know.
If I had to pick, I guess I would pick Terry Hobbs.
Yeah.
As of right now.
I mean, that's who I'm leaning towards, but at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and say that I think it's him because look what's happened to other people that could have not done it or did not do it, and they got fucking, you know, red herringed. We'll leave it at that, of course, you know. And I don't want to do the same to them. I mean, once we get into talking about stuff in this case and stuff, there was people that did it to these prime suspects that a lot of people still think are the, you know, cause behind this heinous crime and shit, and it's just like I just don't think that's right. If they did it, yeah, they deserve every bit of it, and they shouldn't be out. But if they didn't do it, wow.
I think
fucking wow, you know.
Yeah. I think we're all on the same page, right? So like I think that too, but only because of what I've seen. But maybe there's information I don't know, like that you guys will share, you know, within this episode that will change it. So like maybe by the end, maybe I won't think that. I mean, I don't really know. It's very confusing, dude.
There's a lot of stuff that professionals, prosecutors, police officers, experts that basically you could go as far as saying they kind of fudged the evidence on shit.
Yeah.
I would say, considering the fact that during some
I'm not going to spoil it right now, but let's say there's a very important piece of evidence and some people tell the prosecutor or the police, hey, this is where this important piece of evidence is located, right? Well, they go find it and it happens to be in the vicinity of a suspect's home, but you didn't disclose and you won't disclose the fact that that evidence might have already been there before this even happened.
Right.
So your smoking gun was already there. It wasn't freshly, you know.
I never actually thought about it that way until you just said that. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
I'm not going to like spoil anything right now, but West of Memphis, that documentary, like it.
We need to watch it.
No matter who you are, whether you're a reject, whether you're a parent, whether you're a software person, whether you're just a crime junkie, documentary whore, whatever, it will fuck you up. Not just about the fact. In my personal opinion, is that I am undecided on who did it because, like, a big part of me wants to go with Terry, but at the same time, when I was first watching the documentaries 10 years ago, when I first saw them, I was leaning a lot towards Mark, and look how much of an idiot I would have looked like. It had, you know, and people, of course, were like flooding towards him because his wife died in a suspicious manner. But one thing stuck out to me was in the third one, I think, when he went to go take the polygraph. He was talking about when he got married to Melissa, that like the first couple months, he got her into a drug facility. And the doctor told him.
They were both pillheads.
Yes, they were.
Imagine that from what
I mean, that's what it was.
They were.
The
he
truth.
was an addict. He admitted that he overdosed in his parents' home. And so, yeah, he definitely struggled with drug addiction. So, of course, it would make sense that he would find someone who's addicted to drugs and, like, want to love them. But the thing is, the doctor had told him, look, she's pretty addicted to this shit, and it's just going to cause you pain and misery down the road. Like, just don't fuck with it. Just, you know, my opinion is this marriage needs to end. And he was like, no, I'm going to give her grace and mercy and love. Like, no, you get over that. And I just feel like he wouldn't have harmed her. I truly don't think he would have harmed her.
No.
You know, I just don't. And I think he was over the top about, you know, Chris dying. But at the same time, I think he was closer to Chris than Terry was with Stevie. Mark had been in Chris's life. I mean, yeah, he had been in Chris's life his whole life.
I want to say this too real quick. I think also a lot of it has to do with the whole, and this is not bashing anybody, but it's facts. I mean, get mad at me if you want, it's facts. Small town, God-fearing community, when you throw out what was thrown out and your child is a part of that, like not like, you know, being part of this so-called, you know, opposite of what you believe in and everything and all this other stuff, you know.
And one of them had their genitals mutilated. Of course you're going to believe it's satanic. Like, who else? What kind of motherfucker
Which is there's a cool, I won't say cool, I hate to say that, but there's an interesting theory on the mutilation and certain marks on the bodies.
And we're going to get into that, but first we have to start off.
I wouldn't say the bite mark, there's scratch marks and stuff.
First we have to start off by starting off just like from the top. from the top. So basically, what had happened was 3 kids were murdered, 8-year-olds. They found the bodies. I'm actually like, when we watched it, I was into it, but like there's 3, so we were 3 deep.
There's a lot of details.
So yeah, it was a lot.
You kind of forget some. I forgot what time they were found.
Mm-hmm.
So do you know this information, Granny? You want to get us in on this?
Like when they were found?
Like just starting from the top, like where we're going with it.
So they were found on May 5th, 93.
Yeah.
Yes, and they went missing
Well,
on
they went missing on May 5th, 93.
They were found on May 6th.
Yeah.
Around what time was it? It was during the day, wasn't it?
Yeah, the dude was down there. Yeah.
And how the guy came across it at that too was very interesting.
What is it?
The police officer, they were canvassing the area and they noticed a shoe.
Hold on. Was there a missing report or missing persons report?
Yes,
they were.
They had been looking.
They
for
had been searching for these. The night before.
Yeah, okay.
And so he seen this shoe in the water, and I don't know if he knew it was, possibly one of the kids' shoes, or he just had good intuition and was like, "I need to check this out." Well, it's a marshy, kind of.
Like a holler. It's like a holler.
Yeah, it's like
down.
It's like a swampy, marshy area. I wouldn't really call it. It's like a creek, but it's very marshy.
Yeah.
I mean,
very, very muddy.
It's very backwatery. Like not a lot of, like a creek is good and flowing.
This takes place where?
West Memphis, Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll give you kind of an idea of what it's like down there. So anyway, as you were saying.
Well, I'll tell you this. One of the lead suspects, or people that think he still did it, the actual killer, quote unquote, Mr. Damien, he talked about, and I had seen this.
Willow.
Oh, sorry. I thought
I'm
you.
Sorry, I was trying to get the dog's attention.
I thought she was about to get on to me. I'm like, sorry.
I'm just talking.
I was just trying to fill the dead air. Shit. No, I'm just kidding.
No. You were fine. Continue. I'm sorry.
No, what I was getting at is he was talking to his wife, and he talked about when he was growing up there how winter was his favorite time because during the summer and shit like that, it was very marshy, and he liked to be outdoors and shit too. He was, he wasn't just a, shut-in kid. He actually liked to go out. Yeah, he liked to do graffiti and,
Okay, what teenager didn't? Okay, you blew up a toilet. Teenagers make.
That's what I was about to say. I was about to say he was doing, shit, like
teenager shit,
little dumbass vandalism shit,
Yeah.
We didn't vandalize anything really, but we did get into shit.
I vandalized that toilet and paid for it, literally.
I mean, I guess I did. I mean, you could consider it that, but it was at your own house.
But I never got accused like he did. So
no.
Could have happened.
Easily.
That's what bothers the hell. I mean, I asked Mammy last night. I was like, I just want to know what your opinion was because I want to know that as Wes started to grow up, because obviously Wes was still quite young in '93, but then he blossomed into a teenager and was listening to I wouldn't say heavy metal, but heavy metal and
it was heavy. It's heavy shit.
Not really not like a young teenager. It was actually first outside of classic rock because my dad listened to classic rock and my sperm donor listened to classic rock as well. But beside the point, outside of that was Blink-182 was the first actual rock band that not that I knew about, but that I got into and could say, hey, this is a band that I like. And that's what kicked it off. Yeah.
That's going to zoom in on that in post, right?
Yeah, we'll post that.
So, I was asking her, I was like, I just want to know if, you had fear, because you saw what had happened to them, or, you saw maybe you didn't see the 3 of them as innocent, and you're like, oh, shit, is my kid going to be messing around with, the wrong type of people? And, she was kind of like, well, I'll have to rewatch it and kind of refresh my memory. She's like, but I don't really, she was like, I guess I just didn't care because I knew how my kid was, and I wasn't going to, and it's like, yeah, same.
Well, I mean,
it seems like the same thing
too,
with other people. Yeah. Within this,
my 11-year-old likes to paint his nails. He recently, apparently, my 11-year-old put makeup on the bus. I don't know if it's chapstick, lipstick, lip gloss. Not sure. But there's this little girl that's like, Cooper's wearing girl makeup.
Well, give me another month or so, and I got a PhD coming in the mail, and I can tell you if he's into the Satanism or not.
No.
Sorry. You go ahead. I had to.
Accepting, and it's hard to be accepting when things like this happen.
So let's get back to what you were saying.
Sorry.
Found in
anyway, so he sees the shoe and stuff, and it's kind of like a little banky area. It's not really easily accessible, and so he gets down there, and he's an overweight cop. So just give it even more funny context. This actually is funny. So he's trying to get to the shoe. He ends up slipping in the creek and busting his ass. But when he slips, he feels like he steps on something. And, he's already seen the shoe, and he's like, what the hell? And he tells his partner or whatever, he's like, hey, I think there's something down here. And so he ends up finding the fucking clothes that had been pushed down by logs.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't too long after that they found the bodies.
Yeah, because the bodies, I think, were also, pushed, not maybe in the same area, but, somewhere close
so to they were in very
They all drowned, apparently, according to autopsy.
And they were in close proximity to each other, but, in different places. And, I guess one was had been underwater, but like out onto the bank, and then the other two were like out. Is that what happened?
I think the two of them were up on the bank, and one of them was in the water.
Still had been in the water when he found them.
And now, of course,
didn't he say somebody? He's like, I thought I felt something. He's like, then I felt a foot. Isn't that what he said?
Like that. He like reached his hand in there, I think.
Yeah.
And now you may be thinking, if you haven't seen the thing, like, well, maybe they just drowned and like they weren't pushed down or whatever. They were hogtied. They didn't hogtie themselves. So somebody.
Two could do it. One could do it to two of them, but like not the third one. So that's impossible. Yeah. It's an impossibility. And the way that they were tied up was like, I don't think an 8-year-old could do that. But,
I don't either.
But either way.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say this real quick because I won't drop it. But somebody very well in criminal stuff basically said that this was a crime of passion and that kids or teenagers more than likely did not do this.
Yeah, they don't do passion crimes. It's like sporadic, doesn't make sense.
It's just the MO of it. I mean,
Okay, we'll be back.
And we're back. So, where we left off before the last break, you were telling us about the water, right?
Yes. So they stumbled upon the clothes and the bodies
and the foot.
Yeah, there's a foot, and I can't remember which child it was that was underwater.
He was the one that looked like he was very stiff, which I thought to be very strange. I'll add that as well. Yeah, it was kind of strange how stiff they looked, to be honest with you. That's one thing.
What you do when you die. It's called rigor mortis.
But like it just seemed like it was like a slow burn.
I think, and I could be wrong. I tried to look it up on break. I couldn't find it. I thought that, because I had seen a picture yesterday, and I should have saved it. But from what I remember, like it showed where they were. Yeah, I know. Shake your head. But where they were found at. The Byers kid was in the water.
Okay. And
Stevie and Michael were on the bank.
Okay.
The autopsy determines that they drowned.
So the water in that area, because obviously, as they showed it over a period of time, like it just really didn't seem like there was like much water there, like as time went on. But like at first, was it like did like the water come up because it rained or something, got really high?
Well, no, but you as an adult, I think, can drown in an inch of water.
Teaspoon, a teaspoon of water.
Yes, you can.
If someone holds you down,
very possible.
It's very possible they fucking died face down in a mud puddle,
Yeah.
I mean, we really don't know. We don't even know if that's the actual murder scene.
Which is what got me. Like I said, the way the bodies were like, and
there's a lot more to it as well. Like they've talked about. And it's just like the way this supposedly crime scene was. It was so just fucking cleaned.
Yeah. Well, I was about to say, I get they were found in water, not in mud, but they were relatively clean for being in muddy water.
Yeah, like marshy fucking doo-doo water.
They were relatively there was no mud stains on them. I get that it could wash off if you're soaking in water. I understand that, but there's questions like that
I mean, they were dirty, but they weren't like you said. They weren't Arnold Schwarzenegger and Predator.
Isn't that like Dexter? Like Dexter would do crimes. It'd be like a perfect crime scene. Couldn't find it. Isn't that like that? No, but
you gotta watch it.
But I know what it's about, and it's like. Clearly, he was a professional. That's what I'm saying.
He was also highly intelligent.
Yeah, I was going to say he was he was a blood specialist for
Was it 72?
Police department.
72, and wasn't that Miss Kelly's
yes.
IQ 72? A person with that affiliated with all of this to do all this stuff that was like Dexter did. I don't know, man. But as you were saying, so they found him.
You go ahead if y'all want to. If anybody else wants to cut in on this, I mean, y'all know the story too.
I mean. So they found them, and how long did it take them to get after Jesse? Because they went to Jesse first.
Wasn't it pretty instant?
Yeah, it was a couple weeks, month or so. It was relatively quickly.
It was pretty quickly. I mean, we would have to.
Less than 6 months. A little bit more than
It was not less than a very long period.
It was maybe it wasn't long at all.
Now, of course, something very tragic happened in a small town, and people are always calling in with tips. Makes sense. You're as a cop, even if an alien came down, of course you're not going to go investigate that because you're going to be like that person's crazy. But if someone is
3 murdered children.
Yeah. So if someone's like, hey, there's this boy. Let's say I don't like Jessica. and there's a crazy crime that happens, and there's no leads, and the town's going fucking hectic, I can just easily call and be like, yeah, well, I know she smokes weed, and she's into, like, I think she's, like, into witchy shit. I think she did it. They're going to go investigate that, and if they don't
maybe
like
not so much now, but, like, back then, yes, definitely. Yeah. Yes, you're completely right. The Satanic Panic, you know, Bible Belt, Satanic Panic. They had 2 different fucking Satanologists or whatever, like...
Which is crazy to me.
Yeah, crazy. 2 different ones. Actually, one that did not admit to it, but other people have said it, and even the person that worked with him said that she was set up by him to set up fucking... Damien.
But
yeah,
interesting.
But so like two females testified against Damien and Jason.
But
and they pretty much came forward and was like, yeah, we lied, which right there should get you arrested.
Yeah, but the thing is though, like I've been saying this because we've been talking about it, I've been saying this, like, okay, me and Wes and I, whatever, we kind of dressed like that at a certain time period. I wouldn't say I was dressing kind of like the same way as Damien was, like just like the black shirts.
We put pictures in. We got plenty.
Like the
we
black
wrote dark shit and drew dark shit.
Yeah,
I mean, but like hair, we weren't like
filling the darkness. That's not Satanism, dude.
Trying to sacrifice people, but, you know.
But people in school, we all been to school unless you hadn't been to school. I mean, if you haven't been to school, then good for you because you didn't get to experience all the bullshit. But like, you know,
no, I think it's what it is now. Back then, the Satanic Panic is like the school shooter MO today.
Oh,
that's how
definitely.
It feels. Like, you have a kid that looks just straight up like a school shooter and probably the nicest kid in the world. He's probably got a real, you know.
Yeah, but to my point, what I was saying is, like, if that was the case, then people, like, kids, they're, like, not adults, but children. You could be, a child until, you're up to 18. I guess that's what they say. But either way.
Well, Damien was 18.
And you're like, he's over there raping, raccoons in the woods because he looks weird, and then like that starts spreading around the school. It's like a school rumor. And I feel like that happened.
They would kill dogs and behead them and like eat them or some shit.
We all know that nobody fucking did that because we know that in school that stuff happened. Well, at least that's my opinion. Yeah, there's no way that I was doing that just because I looked weird.
It's all rumors. It's all rumors.
And like that, those 2 girls did that to him, and like, and then I didn't know that they ended up coming out saying they lied. But either way,
one of them for sure did. Yeah, she actually the older one that testified, she came out. And
it was well after the case, though, right?
Yeah, it was years after.
Was it the one at the stand? Was it the one like at the stands that heard him talking, or was it like the other?
No, this one. No, this one was the one that not the mail-in. There was 2 Satanologists, like we said. This other guy, he started working the case before they charged any of the boys because small town, got around, who's your suspects, for the way the crime looks. Oh, Damien Eccles, okay, who's he hanging out with? Okay, and so then they got this girl to basically go to a friend's house with him and try to get him to talk about, like, doing Satan shit and basically being a murderer.
We didn't know about that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, okay.
Because you'll find that out not if you... See, that's the thing about this case, too, is, like, you can't sit there and watch Paradise Lost 1, 2, and 3 and act like you know everything about the case because
you do not.
You don't. It's very... I hate to say it, but, like, it can be very biased. Just like the documentary I watched, West of Memphis, that was produced by Peter Jackson. It comes off very biased. It wants you to lead more towards a certain suspect.
But the one with Terry Hobbs' wife, what was that one called? Because she said that there was one with it, and then she said you know the name.
No, that one was a movie that was made, so it was like based
which was
off
based
of
off a book.
Devil's Knot.
Based off of a book.
What?
It was based off a book called Devil's Knot. Same title as the movie.
So that was just kind of like about all of this too.
Yeah,
yes, it was actually
I think right.
It was an author lady who came across the story. I don't know if she's seen the documentary or not. But she wanted to find the truth, so she wrote basically what she could find out. Is what I know of.
You should read it. We got to read it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
But
Terry Hobbs also has a book.
Yeah, Damien Eccles has a book. I think all of them pretty much have a book.
Jason has a book. I don't know about Jesse. Jesse kind of fell off the radar after prison.
But he does have a tattoo on his head that he's going to get the clock.
Well, I would just like to say, even though it's probably a 1 in a million chance, but hey, if you know Jesse Miss Kelly, I want to know if that tattoo is finished and
what time is it?
Can we see it?
Yeah.
Yes, what time is it? Set at.
Yeah,
I need to know.
You would know. I mean, it's supposed to be the time that they, were officially released.
Did he follow through? Did Miss Kelly follow through?
He can't put minutes on the damn thing, though. I mean, it'd be kind of funny. I think he rounded up because he only got so many.
It was just the hour.
Yeah, which ain't nothing wrong with that. I ain't,
But we need to know, is the clock finished?
Yes.
Because I really would like to see it.
Bring us a little bit of closure.
Yeah.
So after they came to his house, well, see, this is where I can't really speak because, like, I only am going off what I've seen, which I've only seen Paradise Lost, 1, 2, and 3, so I can't really. And like don't just watch. I don't mean to cut you off, but don't just watch documentaries either. Look up stuff.
Yeah, maybe try to contact people that were involved with the case, like we did. We need to, like I said, if we, hopefully feel like making a follow-up video, we should try to contact more people and just be respectful about it. If you do, be respectful because these people are already getting flooded.
Yeah, but also you have to be respectful and you have to be careful because again. You could be taken to court if you do or say the wrong things, and that's again while even though we're going to give our opinions, we're going to be like, but we don't know.
My opinion.
We can all comfortably say that I don't think we're ever gonna know.
Yeah, my opinion earlier was like maybe 60%. If we're being honest, like I can't sit here and tell you like my pick could be just as wide open as a dang hitchhiker could have done it. So I'm not gonna label anybody. Because I don't want to sit there and do that to somebody like the suspect I picked out. I don't want to sit there and put him down like that when I don't know the man, and when I want to say, oh well, what about the other stepdad, and what about the boys and stuff? Oh, if I think they're not as if they're more innocent than he is, then why am I you know what I mean? Like I don't want to do that because that's what people did to them if they are innocent.
Because I wouldn't want to be accused of all this shit either.
Right, because you do something suspiciously, or just because you don't have an alibi, doesn't always mean you're doing something illegal or doing something.
To my knowledge, Jesse did have an alibi.
Miss Kelly?
Yes, the slow kid.
I'm pretty sure they all had, or at least I know that
he had an ironclad alibi because he was in another county or city or something wrestling. Yes, and he actually has his name on a sheet, and he had multiple people testify during court on his behalf of saying where he was during the events of when the tragedy happened.
And I just don't see how that just falls through.
So they got him, they took him in, they questioned him. He was the one that got.
Yeah.
And then I think after they questioned him for however long,
they got him to make a confession.
Yeah, they got him to say, some things
which could be subjective.
It was and I don't want to be paraphrased from this because this I'm just going off of memory, but he said that Damien was wailing the heck out of a kid or something like that, and then he started to,
molest him,
rape him, whatever. And and he said one tried to run away, and I don't remember which one. He tried to run away, he grabbed him and brought him back, and then he said he left. So, they go to him first, and then they get him, and they question him. He get him to do a confession. Then they go to Damien's house where him and Jason were at, because they were chilling and hanging out, and then they take him in, they take him into jail, right? So that's that's pretty much how it happened. They questioned them. My thing is we were talking about it, and we were talking about it. Why didn't they question them more? Why did they only focus on Miss Kelly so much, but not the other two boys? They were just oh, they're guilty. Let's bring them in. And so they brought them in, and then everything else unfolded.
Well, the thing was, the way it looked, I can't prove this, but anybody could say it. Even government lawyer people have said it. They think that with him, they got him, and they were wanting him to testify against the other two boys, and that's how they would have their case.
But he didn't do it, right?
He didn't. He never testified against them. That's why they brought in other witnesses, like that girl that ended up years later. She even asked the government of Arkansas if she would get immunity for admitting to perjury on the stand, and they said, no, we can't guarantee you that. And she still said that she lied. So she's taking that risk. So I'm not going to say that she was lying back then, and I'm not going to say she was lying now, but I don't know.
You don't just go do that. You don't just want to go do that.
Admitting to perjury, I don't know that statute of
people have done a lot worse for a lot less.
I do know with petty crime there's a statute of limitations or whatever. I don't know about perjury, but it's just I feel like if there's no statute of limitations.
Well, what she had asked, it wasn't.
Yeah. So it's I feel that's you have to have authentically been I did lie. Why would you lie about lying and then go to prison for lying when you didn't lie?
That's true.
Well, like she said, she even said, she was trying to set up Damien and stuff and went over to that person's house and she told that person, hey, get a bunch of satanic books and stuff and put them on the coffee table, try to trigger them and stuff.
Wait, they did mention that. I remember that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. It wasn't such a big thing as it should have been made to, but
it was in West Memphis. I know I keep calling back, but I'm trying to give people that may have not seen a lot of this or seen any of it or seen all of it where we're getting this information from. So we're not sitting here just being like trying to, I guess, be blasphemous or false accusations. We're doing it to the best of our knowledge, and that's still,
from what we've
seen. And once again, we're not putting anybody down. We're not trying to slander anybody. We're just talking about a very interesting case.
Before you start like getting angry, if you were maybe investigated in this case or whatever, I wasn't born when it happened. I was born May 29th, 1994. I wasn't around. The rest of them were like not even in elementary school.
We didn't know about this case until a few years ago, to be honest with you.
So like we're not experts. We weren't there, but more importantly, we weren't in Arkansas. And another thing is, the four of us definitely didn't kill some kids in '93. So like we're not, if there is a Jesus.
At best, we're armchair detectives at best. We're like second rate, like we said earlier. But that's what we're going at.
Our main goal is to hopefully maybe get not attention for us, although that would be cool. But like we just want something to be done. Like I just think there should be, it should be investigated again. I know it's been 31 years, but like
31 years
deserve justice. And I'm not talking about the ones that are alive. I'm talking about the ones that were brutally murdered.
31 years and still nothing. That's crazy. That's crazy
justice
to me.
For the victims, whether that be the 3 boys or the 3 boys and some other people that were accused.
That would not happen today in today's society. No way that shit would happen. That's crazy.
I don't know. You'd be surprised, man. Things happen all the time. I mean,
I said that as well.
People of color usually get when they're dealing drugs, whether it be cocaine, marijuana, doesn't matter. Usually they get. They get way more time than white people do. White people get probation. Think about rapists. Rapists get off real easy. They get probation at most. And usually those cases get, a
lot of it too, honestly too, like you can't really argue that anymore either, because you got to look at different states now that do like no cash bail. So like they can knock over 7-Eleven and be, excuse my French, but blacker than the midnight sun, and they're still going to get treated the same as a white person. Now there are places that still, like she said, probably do that, but it's
all over America.
It's give and take. Everything is give and take.
No, again, people are going to be. The justice system is very flawed because it's ran by humans. It's going to be flawed. I think it would be really hard, if I was on the jury in 94, 5, whatever, 2000, and this case was the main thing. It would be very hard for me to get not emotional, because I'm very emotional about it. Not only because I have 2 boys who are 8 and 11. But because, like, that's parent or not, looking at a child's dead body is something that, like,
nobody wants to see.
Nobody
looks forward to that.
What happens. You wake up every day and there's a child, there's a teenager, there's an adult that's getting abused, neglected, assaulted, sold into slavery.
Every second of the day, man.
You know it, but, like, because it's not always around, like you get to not think about it because it's not happening.
Yeah, you're like desensitized to it.
Yeah, right. But then when it gets brought up in the news, because little Becky was sold into slavery, and then we found her on the side of the road, and she'd been she'd been raped and strangled to death, and like it's just this little 3-year-old, and you're just like, I know fucked up shit happens like that. I know it does, but like seeing it and hearing about it really just brings the reality of it down. And like it sucks that we can make robots that help us self-check out at Walmart, but we can't make robots that can sit on a jury.
They can't, because you can't replicate. You can't take artificial intelligence and make human emotion. It's never going to be possible.
Right, but I thought that justice was all about no emotion.
It was about facts. I thought
it was about facts.
It is, but it isn't, though, too. I mean, you do have to. They say justice is blind, but
it's not.
It's not. No, there is emotion involved, whether it's supposed to be or not.
And I mean, I can't. Because personally, I know that aside from me, he's never been to court, and I don't know if you have. I know that your family is.
Yeah, I've gone for some misdemeanor
shit. Court is very
shit.
stressful. I only went to divorce court.
I went to claims court for Bill, but
it's
okay.
It's super annoying.
I did go to court for getting kicked out.
Eviction.
That was also way different.
I was nervous though, but I could imagine being like on the stand.
They ask you a lot of questions. So like I was pretty much asked like, oh, so you were just never happy with your husband, and that is true. I was like, yes, that's true. And they start pulling up Facebook posts and nonsense, and it's like it's very hard because you have to defend yourself, and you're like, yeah, in that time I was happy, or yeah, no, in that time I was lying because it's social media, and who the hell don't lie on social media, and it's like court is very hard, and like when you don't look the part, when you are weird, when you don't say something the exact way you should say, when you don't do what you're supposed to do to the best to your ability, like you're torn to shreds. It's very fucked.
And you're 18 and under that, and you're on the stand, and it's really fucked up that happened.
Oh yeah.
It's hard to take it seriously, and it's hard to not have meltdowns, and like especially at that age.
But hey, we're gonna step into a break. Give us. We'll be back. We'll have a little break, and we'll return.
We'll see you shortly.
See ya.
All right, we're back. So let's just kind of get back into it. Let's get a little rundown of what we've seen, what we've heard, and then we'll proceed forwards. All right, so kids were found. Miss Kelly came in. He confessed. Damien.
He was one of the 3 suspects that the police had.
Damien and Jason got brought into jail. And now we're going to start there with what happens moving from that point.
Yeah, like the trial process.
So Miss Kelly was tried first while the other 2 waited, and during his trial, there were a lot of things which I feel like his was had a lot of information, but then the next 2
didn't have as much.
It wasn't as compelling, I guess. But the shit that they were saying in the first trial was crazy because I guess that was the one that sprang everything forwards in motion with all of the accusations, all of the things. There were a lot of things in that trial that were that I personally, in my own opinion, thought was just complete garbage and baloney and just complete accusations.
There's the murder weapon theory. I don't like, and from my opinion, watching experts speak on their opinion, I don't see it being that. And I really don't see the murder weapon being the murder weapon because supposedly that the murder weapon was thrown into I think it was a pond or a small lake that Miss Kelly, I think it was him.
Yeah.
But yes, it was him because it was his mother that apparently had thrown that knife in there that some people had told either the prosecutor.
A year prior.
Yes, it was a year prior to it though, is what they told them, and that's where they knew exactly where to find the knife. And they said, the scratches were because it was a combat knife. We'll put a picture of it up on the screen for you guys so that way you can see. And the way the some of the wounds were, it looked like they took the back of the knife where the serrated part was and was rubbing it over the body. And
but that's really weird. And
which even still, you'd have
but
to.
Even then, they weren't knife deep. It doesn't matter how shitty a knife is. You apply enough pressure, you're gonna pierce through the skin.
Yeah.
Now that knife must have been better than any knife I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
To just barely drag it across your skin and to make a scratch mark, but not enough to cut your skin open.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm sorry, that knife looked shicey as hell.
It did look shicey.
To me,
look sharp as shit unless you're really trying.
Refresh my memory because I think that I'm correct, but there were no stab marks on the boys.
No, just cuts.
Just
cuts.
I thought there were stab wounds.
Where?
I don't believe there was.
I don't think so either.
No stabbings.
There was signs that they got beaten.
Molested. We'll just say molested.
Yeah, beaten, molested, mutilated, whatever.
Mutilated.
And only one of them got mutilated.
Yes.
And the other 2 just drowned, and I think they just got beat up. So I'm assuming
they were stripped naked, hog-tied,
and there were no bruising. There was no bruising, as far as I'm concerned. When you see the body, that's what I mean. Whenever I say they were clean, they were very white. There was no bruising, which is, I think, also very hard for me because
I don't know. I feel like there was.
There may have been, but it's hard to tell
we'll
with the photos, which no one wants to look at the photos. So people would have to say
or
that.
the video,
but they didn't make a point. To say
they did
bruised.
video like this.
I just can't remember if there were bruising okay, think about trying to hold down Kyler in the water. He's gonna thrash. There was no bruising, so I'm assuming the person at least had some mercy and beat them unconscious, and then just put them in the water.
Or persons, we don't know.
Yeah.
Once again, go ahead and throw that out there.
So they found the knife. They place Miss Kelly at the point because he was in there and this is what got told to me that was wrong last night, which I didn't know. It was new information I had heard. So basically, they in the documentary Paradise Lost, they said that they had him for 12 or 13 hours and they were interrogating him, and then by the end of it, he had said he was there in the morning, and then by the end of it, they said he was there at night,
which they did mention in West of Memphis as well. But I don't know if they mentioned that it was that long of a period of time. They could have.
So they didn't confirm it.
I don't know. I can't remember. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure. I think somebody might have said that, they did keep him, which I don't know. And also, there's other evidence that suggests no, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you that somebody telling me something is, God's word or whatever you want. Your deity's word, should I say. Yeah, it's up to your opinion.
What you think and how your moral compass and what you think is right and what is wrong. And if you think it's wrong, and cool. If you don't think it's wrong, cool. But, like, we're not here really to debate that. We're just kind of telling you what we've seen. So, really, like they were saying, you can look it up on the internet. And, Christy's looked up a lot of things and, like, had told me about it, that what she's read. But I've only seen Paradise Lost, so I can't really say.
And even some of the stuff that I have Googled, like here, I'll say this, and I now, knowing just some stuff and, like, just rewatching the documentaries again and, like, just really thinking about it, I don't think it's true. But there was something I read or whatever where basically Terry Hobbs' family was like, he's a closeted queer, he's bisexual.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
like, he was in the park, screwing some dudes, and the kids came across him, and they killed them because he saw them, fucking. Do I believe that?
No,
really.
I don't. I really don't.
Because I just feel like.
Well, she told me that, and I was like,
I could be wrong. I don't know. I could be right.
Yeah,
but I really don't. At the end of the day,
I think it's just because like. It wasn't mentioned in the documentaries, and I mean, of course, not everything was mentioned in the documentaries, but it wasn't mentioned in the documentaries, so that probably means that whoever said that is lying. So,
and another thing too is like there's no other evidence that suggests of his sexual nature. As far as we know, he was a heterosexual male.
Yeah, because he'd been married before.
That's all there should be. If that's what he is, that's what he is. Yeah. Because
I just feel like unless he flat out just comes forward and just is like, yeah, no, I am bisexual, I'm not going to believe it. And
what about
the part?
What about another suspect that was kind of being mentioned through this?
So this was my favorite thing about this entire documentary or this case, because like this dude like went through the stages of like grief like on camera, and he had a problem and all that, but like he definitely was like real as it could be, because he didn't give a shit what somebody else thought. But Mark Byers, I remember,
rest in peace, died in 2020.
Yes, I guess I remember Chrissy was like, I want you to watch this because like I'll watch it, and I was like, okay, cool, we can watch it, and I had no idea what the fuck it was about. And she was like, you're gonna like this guy. I started watching it, and I hated the dude. He was so passionate about the boys that killed his son going.
He was your small villager, basically. Think of Frankenstein's monster in The Villager. That's
he was
him.
like a Christian to the like maximum. Like you couldn't get no more Christian. He was singing Christian songs about his son. He was like telling.
Which that's what his beliefs were, and I mean everybody's entitled to their beliefs.
Yeah.
I'm not bashing him, but like that's how he was, and like he had so much hatred for Damien and and Jason and. What's the other kid's name?
Jesse.
Dude, I'm telling you, I've only watched it like a week ago. I finished it. So like I might be like a little like rusty on the names, but I'm trying. So
same.
So he was absolutely crazy. He knew for 100% fact that they did it, and he was like fired the fuck up. He was always talking about how they were guilty
because
they're for every fucking appearance they ever made.
If I'll say this real quick, I don't know if you were going to touch on it. The thing about it too, which he later told. That's what he thought. Like, he thought those suspects did it. Everything,
he was very convinced. He was like, it was.
Hey guys, welcome back. Sorry, Josh was mid-conversation with the old battery, but what we were talking about, old Byers, and we were getting at basically. I think Josh was getting at the fact that he was just, so against these boys, and which evidence and everything that he was, everybody else.
He was a man of passion,
and he was tore up. He was his kid died. Clearly, he was tore up.
Yeah,
but he was.
It was his kid that was mutilated, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and he was acting crazy.
I would too.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
like and you feel for him because he's almost like Miss Kelly in a way, like he had a brain tumor.
Yeah.
So
a drug problem,
a drug problem.
Not during the documentary, but like before the documentary, and like
I don't know. I think during the documentary he did while they were filming it.
If his fucking ass, if his
I think they were his prescriptions.
Chrissy, if his fucking ass was like a pillhead before that happened, his ass was pillhead after his kid got fucking murdered.
That's what he. You know
what I mean?
He could have relapsed.
I think the only crime that Melissa Byers did was I truly feel she was taking her son's Ritalin. And I think, I
don't know. They said she had a lot more in her system than what was prescribed.
But they won't say.
And here's the thing, too. What he said, he always said, you know, she died of a broken heart. And I think he's right, but also I think it's kind of sweet in a way that, like, he didn't want to say, she died of overdosing on pills, okay?
Yeah, like, you know, you don't want to glorify addiction. You don't want to glorify overdose. And I think honestly, you know, if you are a struggling addict and then you quit for however long, let's say you quit for 8 years for your kid, then your kid gets brutally fucking murdered. You know what you're gonna do?
Or you get triggered, something happens, you know,
right back to it.
Right back to it. I
do feel like that was a contributing factor to her probably killing herself because she died in '96, like
long after all the shit.
Well, it was like 2.5-3 years after her son died.
That's not a long.
That's not a long time. Grief is obviously a lifelong thing.
Yeah, for sure.
But you know, some people, you know, can't handle it, and I don't think I can sit here and be like, oh, I wouldn't do that.
You never know.
I agree. You don't know. Mm-hmm. And then plus, like I said, you know, he seemed like he did have some mental shortcomings, and in no way am I making fun either. I'm just saying, like, he just seemed like that. He seemed more simple-minded.
He reminded me of someone that I know.
Someone that you know dearly?
Yes. I would just say that. And, like, the way that he carried himself, what he believed, and like I said, it's hard for you to.
I mean, as long as you wouldn't dig down this person, I think we're okay.
But either way, so as we're saying, so he comes in the scene, he's tripping balls. They have the trial. A lot of things happened. There
were witnesses that came out and said they lied on stand. I mean, there was a kid that was with James? No.
Or was it Damien?
No, it wasn't Damien. It was the other kid. Jason. My bad. I'm sorry. I don't mean to butcher your name.
I call him Justin because I have cousins and their names are Zachary, Damien, and Justin.
James.
It's Damien, Jesse, and Jason. Mm-hmm. So you got two J's in there as well. I was trying to get a little tongue tied here, but anyways, there was a kid that was in juvie with him, and he said that Jason mutilated this kid and put his testicles in his mouth and all this other nasty stuff. And this kid had a drug problem. Everybody knew about it. I'll just put it at that. There's actually documentations of a certain side of the court that knew that he had these really bad drug problem, but
they still accepted what he said to take him to jail.
Say that he had talked to not a therapist, but like he had talked to someone.
Yes, he talked to like a director.
Yeah, and like that guy slipped out information to that kid.
And then also told, I think it was the same person, told him that kid was a pathological liar.
Yeah, but another thing is whether you're in juvie or prison, so whether you're in juvie or anything in between juvie and prison,
he was given a deal even though he lied about
if you are in contact with somebody and they tell you things about a crime they did that they didn't tell the public, they didn't tell the media, they didn't even tell the police, and you come forward and you snitch, you get time reduced, you get rewarded.
Right, so why not lie? But it's not about if you lie or not, it's about who takes you seriously and if they do and like what that means for the case.
They also had another Scientologist they had this one on the stand, and apparently he never went to school for his PhD. It was literally a mail-in order.
And okay, so this is like the one that really pisses me off. So one of the lawyers was like, "Hey, so from what I understand, this is like a mail-in, degree or whatever." And he's like, "Is that true?" And the guy was like, he was kind of hesitating. He's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "So like basically, it's like from what date?" So it was like, I don't know the exact number. Like from this date to this date, what classes did you take? And he was like, none. And he's like, okay.
And there was also
and he was like, what from this date to this date, what classes did you take? And he was like, none. And he's like, so you're a PhD though. So what fucking life, in what world can you not take any classes but then become a doctor? Of anything, or like not a doctor, just anyone that knows anything. Like
you can get ordained for like a small fee and a computer nowadays.
Wouldn't want somebody doing heart surgery on me that just didn't take any classes but just like picked up shit.
I mean, when you put it that way,
if we looked into that, just like she was saying, it was the 90s, and you're saying it was like a mail-in thing. You pay this much and you get a degree, pretty much.
Yeah, everything was mail-in order.
I guarantee if you look up from maybe the 50s, 60s, all the way until like maybe the 2000s or whatever, how many people died because of malpractice, medical neglect, because people didn't know.
Misdiagnosis.
Crazy. See, that's not something I didn't think about, but
it opens up.
Well, actually, for the longest time, they used to take people like Mr. Jesse and say that he was sick.
Yeah.
That mental illness was actually like physical sickness. That's what they grouped it as. You were a castaway because you were a leper, basically, because you had mental functions.
In the 80s, they were very much about putting I don't like the word retard or whatever, but my brother was classified as mentally retarded, mentally handicapped, born with hydrocephalus, all, cerebral palsy, all the 9 yards, couldn't walk, talk, do nothing. He was born because of hydrocephalus, which is, if you don't know what that big giant word means, fluid on the brain. When he was born, his body was about this big, and his head was about twice the size of his body. And a lot of the nurses and the doctors were like, we're just going to take him and we're going to put him in a home, okay? And he's going to live there the rest of his life. He's not going to live past 5. They were very much like that. Now they're not so much like that at all, because there's so many resources that are available. And I think in the 80s they were like, you as a stay-at-home mom, you can't afford this care, so we're going to put them in a facility.
I mean, they were still doing lobotomies in the 80s.
I was about to hit on the lobotomy. You're crazy. Let's go fucking hit your brain.
And he exactly.
Let's go scramble your brain.
Well, speaking of more quacks, how about the assistant medical examiner that was on the stand? How about he went to take the test to be chief medical examiner at least twice, and failed twice, and then refused to take it again and cited personal reasons?
How about, I didn't know about that, but how about, are you talking about the guy that he was asking about, do you think that you could do like that type of thing?
Yes, he said it was somebody that had to be sophisticated.
But that was him.
Yes.
So his credentials are lacking.
Yes.
So like that was
also too in the state of Arkansas. I don't know if it's still the same way, but from what I watched, it's the medical examiner's office is basically like an entity of the prosecutor's office. It's not unbiased. It's biased towards the prosecution. Oh, so one of the states that have that.
So we talked about Mark Byers.
They work for the prosecution.
So we talked about Mark Byers. Who else came in as like a potential suspect during that? Like, who else were they looking at that around that time?
Go ahead, Grandma. This is one you like.
What, Terry?
No, not Terry. No. Mr. Terry is not involved at this point.
Oh, Bojangles?
Yes. Operation Bojangles.
Yes.
Go ahead and just give us a brief rundown on that.
Bojangles. That's what we're going to call it.
BB Bojangles. Okay, BB. So, there was some guy, I think he was African American, yeah. Runs into a fucking Bojangles, and he's covered in blood, and
he ran to the bathroom and locked himself in
the vicinity of where all this happened.
Well, like the assistant,
the night they went missing.
Yeah, and then like the assistant manager was trying to get him out of the bathroom, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So he goes in the women's bathroom, locks himself in there, and like Wes just said, the manager tried to get him out. And they kept trying to get him out, and the manager called the cops, and next thing you know, the guy's not there anymore. So the cops get there.
Actually, he was still there, but the first responding officer, well, he might have left, but what happened was the first responding officer went to the drive-through to discuss it instead of coming into the premises.
Wasn't that a female officer?
Yes.
Okay, and I just didn't think to do that. I just thought to go through the drive-through. Right?
Yeah. Training.
I mean, you could. I'm not gonna sit here and play devil's advocate on that one. I can't really say what the reasoning is or what the protocol is, but
either way, dude gets away.
Yes.
And they get blood scrapings off the wall. And they fucking lose it.
That was during the trial. They asked him
that on stage.
Yeah, they asked him about it.
He was like, regrettably, he was like, some stuff happened, and
Well, hold on. Before that, they say, well, what happened to that DNA evidence? Like, where was that file? Like, can we get that? And then he said that.
They also asked, like, was it grouped in with the murders? Like, well, no, it wasn't. It was kind of its own thing. Well, okay, cool. What happened to the DNA? Like, did you run the DNA? And he was like, unfortunately, regrettably, I, kind of lost it. And, you
lost evidence to something that may not have been connected, but it could have. But, like, how incompetent.
Either way, if it wasn't connected,
why was a man in the women's bathroom ran in there covered in blood and freaking
I'll say
out?
this person could have been innocent of something, or he could have been guilty of something. He could have been guilty of smashing a car window for radio.
Or he could have been guilty of killing someone else.
Yeah, or beating up somebody. We don't know. He could have been slaughtered a hog and freaked out. I don't know.
Yeah. Could be nothing.
So he was another.
Or maybe he killed somebody's animal and wrecked his car and freaked out and got blood all over him because he felt sorry. I don't know. See, we don't know.
You will never know.
But the evidence was The evidence was lost. The evidence was misplaced.
Now, before we go on to which I mean everybody knows obviously the verdicts, but was there any evidence brought up during the trial that my little bit of Googling and documentaries watching did not catch that you might have a website for.
Because I don't know about it. Yeah. What you got? What you got?
An informative website, some truth.
So there was the first thing that comes to mind, because I've seen quite a few things that were not in any of the documentaries at all. There was a necklace that was found around Damien's neck, and he was wearing that for weeks after the murders took place. Not after he got arrested. None of that. After the murders took place, before he was ever even a thought.
Now, real quick, I know you might have some more information like this. Now, can you go ahead and tell the audience the name of this website? Because I believe that was okay to mention this site because it is a information site. This is the truth.
Information.
This is the
I'll link it down
portrayed
in the
as the truth. Yes.
But the two dudes that do this website, there's some kind of true crime fans, something like that. But this website has every single piece of evidence, court testimonies, transcripts, autopsies, all of the legal, factual stuff available for this case is on this site.
And Granny's a fucking nerd.
Granny's a fucking nerd. Off the top of your head, do you know the name of it?
It's like Callahan dot something.
We will link it in the description.
I will link it in the description.
Yes. But Granny's a fucking nerd, and she probably read a shit ton of it, which we are not. We have not.
I'm still reading
tidbits, but not like.
So all this stuff.
Yes, we're still finding information even after this podcast will be aired.
And there's pictures.
We're gonna find information. Anybody will, but we're gonna find information, and
there's pictures of Damien outside of his trailer when they first came to get him.
In fact, I think right now we'll go ahead and pop up a couple of those pictures.
Yeah, because it's public information. So there's pictures of him. They're just getting how his body type is, and then they have him take his shirt off. And again, there's nothing written with these, but being a true crime aficionado, they're looking for marks.
Right.
Yes.
They're looking for any kind of scratches
Defensive
or anything.
wounds.
There is 0 marks on Damien. Nothing. Clean as a whistle.
And if you're sitting there right now being like, well, they were 8. I'm sorry. Come wrestle my 8-year-old.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He's scrawny, but I'm sorry.
No.
But not even a bruise.
But any person, no matter if you're 3 or 83, if you feel someone's trying to hurt you, even if it's to punish you and not kill you, you're going to struggle.
No, I said I wasn't going to play devil's advocate. Well, what if, maybe Damien did kill these kids, but maybe he didn't do all the other stuff. Maybe he drowned them. Maybe he did stuff that when they were already subdued enough. Maybe he was Charles Manson. Did we get other pictures of the other kids like you said for Mr. Damien?
No. No.
What?
Was there pictures of the other boys?
Yeah, were they casing them out?
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, the piece of evidence that I found that.
No, I'm saying the pictures that were going to.
They took pictures of Damien. Did they take pictures of Jesse and Jason?
Oh, did they take?
Or have you not gotten to that?
I have not gotten to that yet, but I would think so because it's broke down by sections. So
Wouldn't Jesse's be a little unfair though because he was a wrestler and I'm sorry. Wrestler, football player, even soccer player, volleyball player. Even I went to school with a girl who I don't know she took a really harsh dive.
Yeah, they're bruised up.
But wrestling anything that's hands on. So wrestling.
Well, even still, he was the one that admitted to subduing at least one of the children, so he would have wounds anyways.
72.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that was either,
IQ of 72 though.
Maybe that was either talked about 17, or just already said. He was 17,
assumed. Which means he had the equivalent mind of I think
5 or 7,
6, 5 to 7.
Yeah,
that's not very old. That's, and I just don't see another 5 to. I don't see a 5 to 7-year-old killing another 5 to 7-year-old unless they truly are legitimately a sociopath. I'm assuming there are kids that are sociopaths out there. Never met one.
Now, also, I hate to keep going back and forth, but also, so is there anything else that you found on this site that happened during the actual trial? This trial, the primary trial.
They got left out.
Yes.
They got left out.
So the biggest thing to me that I really need to know the answers for, and I know that I'm never gonna know, the necklace that Damien wore for weeks after the murders, why did that have Stevie's blood on it? Again, when I seen this, we'll get into that later, but he had a necklace that he wore for weeks that has Stevie's blood on it.
But was it his blood or was it his blood type?
It was Stevie's blood. Like I said, we can get into that later. But that was a piece of evidence that was presented in court.
Yes.
That was left out of Paradise Lost.
Yes, and West of Memphis as well. I will say.
Now, I have being told that information that I did not know. Another thing comes to like mind, like what was the necklace? I know you know, but like I'm not asking like for you to tell me. I'm saying, like,
of it.
Okay, so like what was the necklace? Where did the necklace come from? Who had the necklace before you had it? How long did he had it? Like stuff like that, I feel like is relevant. Which I don't know if you would know it, but you know,
what if the person that well, I mean, then again, how that means they'd have to be connected.
He took it off and gave it to his girlfriend. That's why he didn't have it.
Bless you.
Thank you. Sorry.
You're good. You're good. You can.
Because they got it from her.
So with that being said, what has happened, as we have all seen so far, is that everything has happened how it's happened, and now the next thing is that guilty. They're fucking guilty. They are guilty. They go to jail.
Damien gets the death penalty.
Yeah. He's going to
go to get 40 years. I think
they get life plus 40.
Plus life plus 40. They're never getting
Yes.
out, and he's gonna die. They're never gonna get out.
None of them are available for parole.
He's going on death row. Like
So we'll pick up after the last break, and we'll kind of just dive into a little bit of stuff. And if we have to continue or make another episode in the future, we might revisit it. But we'll try to get it in. We'll be back.
And we are back. So
we're sorry about what happened.
Yeah, you already know. If you've made it this far, you know. We're just Wes said, on that little break. We're a rinky-dink podcast.
We're just a little mom and pop show here. Exactly. Which
I mean, just because we're talking about something heavy, yes, we're still Trass.
And at least Kyle hadn't broke in with his caw.
It's early. It's only 11:46.
Well, the last time he said that, not too long after Kyle did start calling.
You know it.
The curse of Trass. It may happen.
I mean, it's going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
All right. So
but yes, let's
what are we going with here?
Jess, we're going to go into I think like a little bit of theory, and then after everybody kind of says like a theory or something, a little final piece of info for this last bit, then we're going to give our final like suspects at the end.
And let's
after
say
we've heard some new information.
And let's say too, this is theory, not conspiracy, because like conspiracy can get real deep, and we can talk about it for like 5 hours. But
we'll save that for another episode.
Yeah, we'll do a theory.
We're definitely going to be doing a follow up.
Completely theory free.
So who's gonna? Are you gonna go first?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, hit us off.
So, I've gone back and forth like really hard over the past couple of days, but
I can attest to that. I've witnessed it. I've seen it.
Yeah, like
it was like one way, then it was another.
Like last night was wild.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was here for it.
But I mean, just like looking at everything that's happened.
Hey, Granny, let's preface this by saying like we also have missed a lot of things that we left out. There's a lot of shit, and we talked about during the break. Like, what did you say was how many hours of stuff they have footage?
I mean, they have probably hundreds of hours of footage. There's books. There's court documents. There's just so much that you could probably fill up a room full, maybe,
so much
if not more. And
we're noobs, man. We're just doing this.
We're just like cracking.
I've been. Well, we don't.
Well, she doesn't understand.
Siri's more of an expert than us, apparently.
She doesn't understand.
Hey, dude, ask Siri what she thinks about the West Memphis Three and see what she says.
That's
and then you can go on.
That's
just curious, man. AI, baby.
Siri, who do you think killed? How should I ask it?
Oh, we're live. You're fucking up. Who killed the No, wait. Are the West Memphis Three guilty?
No, because it'll start bringing up
Siri, come on. Now she don't want to work.
Apple, baby. Hey, get yourself an Android. Get you.
Steve Jobs still robbing you from the grave.
Okay, Siri doesn't want to talk right now. Maybe we'll talk to her.
It would have been a good bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe this whole podcast is a bunch of signs, but from who? Is it from the dead kids, or is it?
They're like, quit butchering our fucking.
Wait, here I got her on the phone.
Idiots. We just
hold on.
Siri, are the West Memphis Three innocent? She said, "I'm sorry." You couldn't hear her, but she said, "I'm sorry."
Way to cop out because you don't want to hit something controversial. Okay.
AI knows better. No, I'm just kidding.
It was on silent mode. Siri, are the West Memphis Three innocent?
I'm not not sure I understand.
Oh, you're not sure you understand? Neither did the fucking.
We dodged that question. All right. Anyways, let's move on.
Yeah,
let's move on.
Come on, Granny. Let's get it on.
I'm tired of this.
She still don't understand. Okay.
I don't care.
We've had our fun. But honestly, the things that are out there, and again, a piece of evidence that we didn't cover, a few minutes ago, there was a hair found in, was it Byers' shoelace?
Yes.
There was a hair found in Byers' shoelace that...
Wait, no, it was Michael.
It was Michael.
Wait, I think it was Michael because...
It was...
I'll tell you this real quick. We'll put who the name up.
Yeah.
We'll get the correct information.
Anyway,
yeah, we'll just put the name up. We're not going to put picture or nothing like that. Just the name of the...
Christopher or Michael.
Yeah. So, there was a hair found, and the way that this hair was found, It was the 90s, so, they did, a DNA analysis on it, but, they weren't able to, pull DNA, but they could tell the type of person that this come from, and it came from a white male with brown hair.
I think it's like dial-up internet to what internet we have now. That's how the DNA analysis was then. So now would be way different. But then that's all that they had.
Oh yeah, there's stuff they couldn't test for back then that they can test for now. Just like anything.
People say aliens helped us with technology. Maybe the aliens can help us. Who the fuck killed these kids?
Right. But with that,
they already got their podcast. They're like, fuck these losers.
They're like, what are these fucking losers doing, man?
We got the real scope. We know.
They're like, they're trash. Fuck
we
them.
already know.
That's why we don't go to that planet.
Go ahead, carry on.
But anyway, with that and it being so closely linked to Terry, and then with Pam, his wife at the time, with the stuff that she came out and said, just all of that stuff, it seems like he is a very likely suspect. And things that I've read, it's very shady.
And it's like the media people, everybody tries to make you think one way, but then you find things and you're like, hold on a second.
There are media agendas out there, and it's a very, very wild thing.
But aside from the media and all that, you have to, again, restating it one more time, you have to, it's about what you think about, what your personal opinion is. And, if you think that somebody's guilty, cool, but, I might not think that. And that's the same thing that happened during the trial, which is unfortunate because that's how it is. And
it was a modern-day witch hunt.
If I was in that position, I would be, super fucking freaked out to, make their own decision. Jury duty is required. You have to go. Those people didn't want to be there, but one guy did. But either way, we're not going to hit on that.
Apparently, but
there's
some stuff about that we're not talking about.
So
though.
I'll go next, and I'll just say that I truly just, it's kind of the same. I'm not going to cop out and say, oh yeah, what Granny said, but Granny says something that I actually feel myself some of the evidence and some of the stuff that got said after, which we didn't see in Paradise Lost, that we have seen, from the internet, from researching on our own accord, which again, we had the fuck up, and we're going to show you some stuff where you could have gotten it, and if you want to get it, go back and get it because it'll be there for you.
You should. Don't just take some white trash opinion from us in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, because we don't know. But either way, my opinion is that Terry Hobbs is guilty, but I don't know. That's just my opinion about it.
Yeah.
And it's because of all the things what Granny was hitting on a little bit that, she didn't really go into detail about. He had some clothes that had a bunch of mud on it, and he was being weird about it. That's what his wife said. Now, was his wife lying? Who fucking knows? But in my opinion, if you think someone's not guilty, then you're going to sway all the way that way. You're not just going to be like, yeah, it's kind of like that. But some of the stuff we've heard is that Granny said earlier when we lost the video and we just had audio, he had the necklace. It makes me question if my opinion is correct, or if what I think is real, and it's this whole thing is all fucked, and that's why we decided to cover it, because it's all fucked, and hopefully you guys do your research and you get your own opinion, and you can tell someone, go tell your mom, go tell your dad, whatever, man, just tell somebody, because you think something's wrong, stand up for people that are innocent, that you think are innocent. If you don't know, then don't fucking say shit. If you know, get your fucking information correct. and then make a decision. Don't just watch a documentary and be like, oh, well, they're innocent, because that's what everybody wants you to think.
Yeah.
That's what actually a lot of people have done.
And it seems like HBO, because we didn't mention it, but I'll mention it briefly, and then we can skip on to the next person. But like HBO, like the accusations of HBO glorifying the West Memphis Three to make them look like they're innocent, and like
same with West Memphis.
You could say that, but like, what if they were truly innocent, so nothing that they produce or nothing that they make could be otherwise? Because where are the other fucking documentaries about how they are guilty? Why aren't we seeing that? Why are we only seeing what says that they're innocent?
Well, I mean,
that doesn't mean that they're innocent. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, you have HBO. I mean, I don't know who else is going to pick up a documentary on the West Memphis Three that's going to put them in a bad light when you've seen what Paradise Lost did, because they got 2 fucking more back-to-back docs in a way. You know what I mean?
There's probably like 20 episodes.
I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff that people may be watching that already know or may not know.
And it's unfortunate that like, I
mean, there's books that these people that were involved with this stuff in one way or another that have written.
I slurred. It's unfortunate that people have chosen to make money off of 3 children being murdered and not having any like really proof, and like, but like that's the way life is, and like you have to like understand that before you start sitting there thinking about, oh, you're fucking guilty, you know? Like, it's like, are they glorifying people that are guilty or are they not? And like that's what's so hard about it. So I'm gonna skip on. Let's get Chrissy on it, man. Come on. Let's get Chrissy going. What'd you think? Who's guilty?
I'm pretty emotional.
No, let her have her theories and let her do that.
I'm pretty emotional about the whole thing because I'm extremely sensitive and I have 2 kids, and like I watched this 10 years ago. But
hey, hold on. Before we watched it, she told me about it, and then like also myself, I also have an 8-year-old, so like, you know, like, and she's a female, so like, but like, there's.
But it doesn't matter. You have a small child.
And there's 8-year-olds around, so like, I get it, but like, I didn't take it.
What are you doing with 8-year-olds?
She took it, and she took it hard, and like, there were multiple times.
I watched it about. I don't. It's crazy to say like 10 years ago. That's super weird, but it's probably about 10 years ago I watched it, and at the time my youngest wasn't anything. He didn't exist. I only had my oldest son, and he was about 2 or 3 at the time, so it was a little less like hard for me to watch it now as I have older kids and I've done all these things with them and I've gotten to know them as who they are now as little kids. It's very rough to not get emotional, and like my biggest theory on this is that I truly feel that the West Memphis Three are innocent, and I feel that the West Memphis Three, meaning Eccles, Miss Kelly, and Baldwin, they were at the wrong place, wrong time, friends with the wrong people. Meaning wrong place, Arkansas, South, the southern state. Wrong time, 93, Satanic Panic. Friends with the wrong people. They're friends with each other. And, 2 were younger and a little more mentally, physically weak. And Damien was, I wouldn't say he was physically strong. He looked pretty scrawny. Doesn't mean he couldn't fight somebody, but
he was older.
He was mentally way more strong than them, and I feel he took care of them. That's why I feel they couldn't have done it. And with Christopher and Michael and Stevie, wrong place, wrong time, friends with wrong people. They hung out all the time. Wrong place. They stumbled across somebody or something. They did something wrong. Wrong time. Again, saw something, didn't see something. I don't know, but either way, they got murdered for being the wrong place, wrong time. Essentially, that's how most innocent people die. Wrong place, wrong time. Whether you go to the gas station, get gas at 3 a.m. and it's getting robbed, and you don't know, and you go in, you get shot. Wrong place, wrong time.
And just to comment on this, what you were saying, like, it is 3 children being brutally murdered versus like one person just like getting killed. Like it's like. It's not just someone murdered someone. It's someone murdered 3 children, and like, how does one person do it? No, 3 people can do it, and that's kind of like, I guess, what they kind of like push. You know what I mean? Like, only by 3 people.
Basically, a criminal per kid, which could have happened. But yeah. So again, I believe they're innocent. So that's why I said that. But Terry Hobbs does seem suspicious. I hate to be the third person to say that. He seems suspicious because He had a pocket watch he always carried around, and yes, I have I have 2 kids.
Pocket knife,
yes.
Pocket knife.
I have 2 kids. They're forgetful. Okay, let's not act like Stevie took the damn thing everywhere. Okay, but maybe he did. I don't know. He was not my child. Okay, I do know that I have a child that is very particular about a lot of things, and
he wouldn't forget that. He had it on him. He would have it on him.
He's got favorite things.
Yeah.
A-Train, quit playing with the cord, you dick.
You're about to mess everything up, dude. The lighting look, he already fucked the lighting up. Let me fix it. Sorry. You can continue on though.
He's an asshole.
But he seems suspicious because essentially Stevie carried around a pocket knife pretty much 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
And the day he was found, and they found all of their clothes and their shoes and themselves, they did not find that pocket knife, and Pam was pretty suspicious of that because did someone steal the pocket knife or did it get lost in a scuffle? And I don't know the time period. I cannot remember, but I think it was like maybe a couple weeks later, whatever. Because it's my understanding they got divorced not too long after Stevie was, murdered. But it was sometime, I think, between or kind of during the divorce. So 93, 94 era. Mm-hmm. She found Stevie's pocket knife in his nightstand drawer. But I've only, I haven't seen that pocket knife. So is that true or not? I do not know. But my thing is, if it wasn't, my other opinion is like, because I'm not 50-50, I'm not 100% on Terry Hobbs. I'm more of like, I'd say 25% on Terry Hobbs. My other theory is that, here's another thing that I do know from watching crime docs and even CSI and Cold Case and freaking Law and Order, Criminal Minds. When a kid goes missing, when a kid dies, 9 times out of 10, it is either a family member or it's a family. So it's either a relative.
It's someone they know.
It's a relative or somebody they know. So Terry Hobbs seems suspicious, but at the same time, in the 90s, okay, cool. Let's think about Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy. They had neighbors, okay? So pedophiles can have neighbors. Do I think it was a pedophile? Maybe not. But was there maybe a sadistic person in the neighborhood?
Was there a fucked up person in Arkansas at that time that could have done that? Yeah.
Was there a faculty member at their school?
Coulda.
So my thing is, I'm 25% feel that maybe it's Terry Hobbs and the other.
But hold on, you don't have anyone else. So like at what it stands now is like he's the only one that you kind of think that,
right? Because well, they didn't because this is what I will say. It is sad that if Mark Byers got accused hardcore, so much so he went to LA and took a fucking polygraph test. Okay. It is sad. I feel that because the police botched the goddamn investigation.
Bleep that one out in post.
They left it so fucking open. We have to target the parents, okay?
You have to, yeah.
And I find that so unfair because if they'd done the investigation and scoped the neighborhood, maybe they would have found somebody who was killing the possums and raping the puppies. Maybe they would have found somebody who was a pedophile. Maybe they would have found somebody who wasn't them but lived within close proximity and saw them every day. Because in the 90s, you saw your neighbor and you knew that neighbor so much so that Halloween, Christmas, Thanksgiving, you were hanging out with your fucking neighbor. You were good, tight friends with your neighbor, okay? Because that's the old-fashioned way. Not a lot of people are like that nowadays. So you can't tell me that they didn't know at least 10 people on their fucking block. So I'm just saying.
Well, hey, hold on. With that, too, like, it's the same thing as, like, Damien being a weird kid in school and people knowing that he was a weird kid. It's the same fucking thing. Like you were just saying, like if you had to know that you had a weird neighbor that you could maybe say, hey, maybe this dude did this.
Because again, also when something happens like that that's traumatic and like the hotlines that pop on TV, or like if you've seen anything suspicious or what you feel is suspicious, one thing that's suspicious to me will most likely not be suspicious to Wes or not be suspicious to Josh, but it was suspicious to me. So I think that in that situation it's also hard, but I feel the true criminal and the true crime here is that the investigators and the law enforcement just really dropped the ball because it sucks that we have to sit here and think that it was apparent, but we think that it's apparent because the FBI, the top dogs of fucking crime and fucking rapes and fucking serial killers and shit, the top dogs are like, when a kid goes missing, it's not a fucking stranger, you idiots. It is somebody they know. It's either a relative. No matter if they're blood related or not, it's either a fucking relative or it's somebody they encountered daily. Somebody that knew them, that like, again, so I just, I truly feel that, yeah, maybe it was Terry Hobbs or maybe it was some sociopath in the neighborhood, but it definitely wasn't the fucking West Memphis Three.
Well, that's your opinion.
That.
That's your opinion. And I'm really starting to think that you yourself are the one that killed 3 kids because, as I see in camera focus here, what's this guy over here that you have back there? What
took my bit from me, so go to hell.
It's
you can burn and go to hell.
But either way, we got.
So what that it is a person in a sheet looking like a ghost, and so what the sleeves say, "Show me your fucking God." Okay, and so what did the fucking cross
hold on.
I'm not satanic. Show me your fucking
Hey,
God.
listen,
who allows this to happen?
Chrissy.
Who allows this to happen? And lets the criminal walk free. Cool, we have free choice. So somebody could be sociopathic enough to kill some kids, but why would God stand there and let them go free? So they can go to hell? That's not fair.
Chrissy,
that's not good enough.
Chrissy, you're done.
The end.
You're done. Listen, I have one question for
done.
you. One question for you before we move on to West. Do any of you, all 3 of you, do you think that your boy, Mark Byers, would have liked that merch? Forget the upside down cross, but like what he said, show me your God. God is going to send you to hell. You know?
I would hope he would sing me a song.
I feel like he would, because in the last documentary, whenever everything came out and he found out about the Alfred plea,
20 minutes.
Shit.
Chrissy,
I'm so sorry.
we got to move on.
Was like, this is unfair. So yeah, he'd probably be like, God, why? He'd probably be like, help me through this, because what the fuck, Jesus?
All right, Wes,
I'm so sorry.
Wes, take us off, man.
All right, coming back with my final take. I guess I probably won't have as much to say, and that's not a bad thing. A lot of them said a lot of things that I probably thought too, but my thought is there was stuff that was presented during the first trial that was either fabricated in some way, misconstrued. There was evidence that shouldn't have been pushed, and there was things that shouldn't have been done. Now, was there stuff that should have been in there? Yes, I'm sure. There's stuff that I probably talked about, we talked about. There's stuff that we probably we don't know about, or we didn't talk about, that could be in there as well, that could convict these 3 people. My biggest thing is, not only did we lose 3 innocent kids, but if these West Memphis 3 are in fact innocent, then what? That's
3 more lives.
That's 6, dude.
They spent, as long as they've spent on the earth, they spent in prison.
Yeah, and that's 6, man. Like, and 6 times 3 is not 666, but if you put 6 3 times, it's 666.
They got like 18 years. I mean, what? Homeboy was 18. What? 17 and 16. Yeah.
If they were innocent, they did all that time. Like, imagine like what they could have done if they weren't in there, and like that's what the fucked up part about it is, because like it was taken.
Well, I mean, Jason and Damien both had talked about getting out of that area, wanting to leave that area, and they just, for whatever reason, whether they are guilty or innocent, they still got that taken away. Whether they deserved it or they didn't, the facts are the facts. I mean, like I said, there's stuff that, our confidential informant gave us. There's stuff that, we've seen, and to me, it's like, even old R.I.P., like, I wouldn't want to sit here and say that he's a suspect. Because, like, I don't want to sit there and blame him. I don't want to blame Mr. Terry. I don't think he's a suspect. Yes, I said that at the first, but after going through all this evidence, and there's more evidence that I've withheld about some stuff that,
that we will cover. Will cover. We'll come back.
But it put him in a bad light. And, the people that said it are the people that said it. And I'm not going to sit there and say that's true, because what if it's not true? Then you're sitting there, you're railroading another innocent person, and then,
giving out more.
If him. So, anyways, what I'm getting at is, let's say the boys are innocent. Let's say, Mr. Terry's innocent. Let's say R.I.P. is innocent, because I like saying R.I.P.
Yeah, it's good.
So let's say all of these people are innocent, and it was somebody that could have been the Bojangles suspect or somebody else. Then yes, that person's got to walk this whole earth innocent when they are in fact guilty, while it's ruined many lives, not just the people that were suspected or trialed, the families, the friends, everybody. It's ruined because of whatever happened that night. And like I said, we do want to make a follow-up video. I think we will. I don't know how fast we'll put it out, so don't sit there and think.
Well, hey, I was gonna say too, like in addition to that, like
maybe a month or two from now, I want to say.
I think it's like symbolic that we did. I think it's symbolic that we did the video like this because like we were kind of like how it like when it happened, like just like.
Well, here's the thing that
we're flustered, we're emotional, we're fucking, we're confused.
I don't know if y'all put it this way, but
it's a crazy fucking.
That shit could have happened around here.
Yeah, and
that's another reason why it hits so hard, because that shit could have happened
We
here.
have a Memphis, Tennessee. You know why it's called Memphis? It connects with Memphis, Arkansas.
Yeah.
We're connected to fucking Arkansas, so like.
But yeah, more or less getting into the small town type deal. Like our small town is like West Memphis.
Yeah. We all have experienced judgment and just bullshit from not only maybe dressing different or being different, listening to different music, or having different grades or
like take Damien.
Skills.
Let's say Damien's innocent, right? Let's say, I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm just saying let's say he was 100% innocent. It's out there. That's fact. You can't dispute it.
Right.
So what? Okay, then you look back at the case and you think this kid is like an aristocrat or whatever you would call it. Like the way he was, like on camera and stuff, he could still be a little mass murdering evil person and still have that same quality, but at the same time, if he was innocent, you judged him like people have been judged throughout time because they were more artistic, like that arista style. That's what he was. He was
like stuff that you didn't like.
Judging people, I think, is human nature, and I don't think that's wrong because it does save you from.
If he was a sadist, then so what?
Judging someone and putting them to death or life in prison or to be stoned in the fucking streets. I just think that's fucking wrong. Like, you can judge people all day long, and you should, because sometimes your gut feeling is correct, but you shouldn't.
It shouldn't be
to death.
Yeah, it shouldn't be judged to death.
I agree. Yeah,
wrong.
And that's why, like I said, I'm going to leave mine. I think I'm going to leave it inconclusive. Be honest with you, because I can't right now with what I know. I can't give anybody. I can't give you. Even my suspect that I gave you earlier after, reviewing stuff and actually talking it out.
He fucking took the high road that he fucking hassled Granny about.
High road. I think it's
I didn't take the high road.
I think it's very difficult and it sucks because like all of us.
When you hear stuff about people, it's hard not to sit there and want to believe it.
I know.
But again, there was stuff I heard about Mr. Hobbs that I wanted to believe, but I'm not proved wrong. I'm not proved right either on it, but I'm going to sit here and say maybe that didn't happen.
Right. Mm-hmm. I got divorced recently, meaning last year. It was a 3-year process, so I left my ex in 2020. Didn't get divorced till 22.
Yeah.
It was rough.
Yeah.
But I can say now, if something crazy happened and for whatever reason I got convicted of a crime, whether it be petty theft that meant fucking jack shit or fucking raping babies, my ex's family would come forward and say some
they would.
false bullshit.
Yeah. Oh, they would.
They sat on stand and lied to a judge.
Yeah.
And now it's different.
because that's what you do when you care about someone, but that doesn't make it a fact, which is like what
it's feeling
is what we're getting at. Yeah.
You left my brother and you hurt him. I hate you and I will do all I can to take
make
you
your
down.
life miserable. Yeah.
And that's just no thank you.
Okay.
So again, it could have been Terry Hobbs' family that released stuff, or maybe it could have been Pam's side of the family, or it could have been Stevie's side. I don't know his. I
mean, like I said, there's enough to convict Mr. Hobbs as much as it is the Memphis Three, but am I going to sit there and say that either one is guilty? No.
The evidence that was found that they said matched Terry Hobbs unfortunately matched 1% of the population. That's a lot.
Okay, but if that was the case, then why can't other people see that that was unfair? Because again, it was it was a product of the time.
Well, Arkansas admitting fault in any of that, whether it be the judge, whether it be the cops.
I mean, they got the Alfred plea. We do know that.
They can't be sued, but of course the state is not going to come forward and admit fault because you know what happened. The West Memphis Three signed an Alfred plea. You know who didn't? The living parents of Michael Moore. They're the only ones that are alive, and Pam. So if they admit fault, Pam and the Moores could go after them and sue them. For neglect, for could sue them for just
the
a terrible botched
the
job.
three boys
And
can't. They can't
Mm-hmm.
get their
They don't
life
want
back.
that. They want to find the killer.
So
but not bad enough to be sued and fucking brought to justice themselves.
So at the end of this podcast and what you guys are seeing, three of us are going for one man, and that may be wrong.
I'm only 25%. I can't say anymore.
Wes is
I can't give you 15% of anybody. I can't give you 15% of the three. I can't give you 50% of Mr. Terry. I can't give you 50% of R.I.P. I can't. Nobody. Not even Bojangles.
I wish we as Americans
Until I get more facts.
I wish we as Americans, all of us 18 and over, because 18 you can vote, 18 and over, should sign something saying nobody's going to go after Arkansas. We just want to know who killed the kids and have them brought to justice. I don't care about taking Arkansas down. I don't care. Yeah. I want to know who did it.
Well, the powers that be must have. Again, that's another theory, and we're not going to get into that. But from this point here, I think we've all said what we need to say. And again, we will revisit this. This was kind of
and we will reach out to people.
There were no notes.
We can't promise that people are going to want to even much less if they see this and they don't see it want to participate or have any anything said in the next episode. We can't guarantee that,
but we're going to try.
We will try, and even if they don't, even if they tell us to go lick their dirty buttholes, we're not going to dog them. We're not going to be like, I tried to reach out to Damien and he told me to lick his butthole and I just don't like that, so he's guilty. No, I'm not going to do that. I don't do that.
We're going to cut it off. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you didn't, you suck.
And also,
if
anyone involved in the West Memphis Three case, whether that be from the victims' families to, the accused families.
If you were around, if you lived in that area, anything.
We appreciate you watching, and we mean no ill will. Again, I think we're all after the same thing, which is who in the GD fuck killed 3 kids and
hey,
why?
I'm from a small town. This happened in a small town. There you go. That's what kickstarted it.
Lil Diddy. About some murders.
We'll see you next time.
See ya.